Hey Carolyn, thanks so much for coming in and having a chat to us today about your positive experiences with PET. I really appreciate your time. I know we're all very busy.
No problem.
So I just wanted to start off by just asking you what was going on for you in your life and within your family that made you research parenting classes and what was out there for you to help.
So I have 2 young kids, and my eldest is 4, and basically I just felt like I was in a parenting rut. I was just going through the day-to-day motions, and I just felt like I was in a power struggle every time with him when I needed to get my needs met and get my ideas across to him that these things had to be done and this is the way they have to be done, and basically you don't have a say. And that's how I just felt that my parenting was going. But it was just, I said to my husband many times that I feel like I've made one of the biggest mistakes becoming a parent because I just wasn't enjoying it. And I'm not the only one that's felt like that way. I've got friends that feel that way too, but I didn't want to keep going like that. I wanted to find something that could help me.
And I think that's one of the most common things that parents do say is that, what have I done? What have I done? I've made this decision that I now can't get out of.
You
and
can't go
it's
back.
a living hell, So, and I also do believe that a lot of parents want to get help, and I think we all need help in this thing called parenting because we've never had any training. And it's about finding something that really fits with us. On a cellular level, we want to know what we're doing with our parenting is actually, it feels good and it feels right. So talk to me about what your sort of main issues were when you started the PET course.
So the biggest ones were getting ready in the morning and going to kinder. Then the other thing was separation from kinder. So Campbell, my 4-year-old, he was just not coping with leaving me to go to kinder. And that had been going on for about 1.5 years before I started PET. So that was it was just draining. It was really draining.
Very emotional,
the other things were just tantrums, which I'm sure every parent will go through. And then bedtime. The major things, I guess, that everyone goes through, but I just didn't have the skills to be able to deal with them.
And you were saying to me sort of earlier on, before you started, that when you sort of had a chat to me about starting, that you thought that PET might have not been suitable for your aged children. So you thought that it might have been, because it is based around communication, you thought that maybe it would have been sort of more appropriate for older children. So how do you sort of feel about that now? I know that you feel quite differently about that now.
So I definitely felt within the first maybe couple of sessions, I was like, not really sure how this is going to fit for my kids. But as I learnt the tools and actually got to put them into action, just the results you see, you just go, wow. Like, it's just quite amazing to be able to see the benefits.
So talk to me about some of those. I'm excited to hear.
Okay, so since doing this course now, Campbell and I don't have any issues with him separating from kinder. So that is a massive thing. Massive for me. It's been now probably 6 weeks of him going to kinder, and he goes to kinder 3 days a week, that I've not had to say, any kind of thing. So, and that was all the tools that I've used, using the iMessages and talking to him about all of that. And then doing some method 3 problem solving. And just getting him to come up with ideas to see what it is that really was affecting him.
So he felt like he had an active involvement in the decision-making process, not that he was being forced into a situation that he wasn't comfortable in.
That's exactly right.
And what about that? You spoke obviously before about the tantrums and things, and gosh, isn't that a common theme amongst all families?
It is, and I still struggle. I'm obviously quite new to PET, so I still struggle with them. I really do, and some days I'm good. Some days I can remember all the things, and it'll work quite fine, and I can go through the active listening, and then put in some iMessages when we're in the no problem area. But there are days where I'm just like, I'm not on my game. And,
Yeah,
but I think that's just human, being human.
I think you're exactly right. I think that's part of being human, and I think that's what I love the most about teaching PET is that it's not about being perfect.
Yep.
It's about being the very best that you can be, and sometimes that's not every day, and it's not all the time.
Exactly.
It's just about having your little toolkit there that you can access the tools whenever you need them,
Yep.
and on different days that's going to be different tools.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
So you talked a little bit about before sometimes the mistakes that we make, or the fact that we're not on our game, or that you've only been doing PET for a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
So how has that impacted? How has that impacted on your parenting? Not necessarily doing it perfectly. Does it still work?
Yeah.
Or
absolutely.
do you learn from your mistakes? Or,
Definitely.
Yeah, right.
Definitely learn. So as soon as I've done, perhaps a roadblock, or I've given a you message rather than an I message, immediately I'm just like, oh, really should have, done that differently. And I learn from those.
Yeah.
So next time I know that, I should definitely try to do this differently. And there are times where I'll go back to my book and just, have a look and get a bit of a refresher, because I know it is hard to remember everything straight away. And it's like anything that you learn, practice makes perfect.
Yeah, that's right. I think it just takes time, but I think people have often sort of asked me before they've started the classes, 8 weeks seems like a really long time and it's a big commitment, and I say, yeah, it is, and anything worth doing is worth that time, I think, and can you put a price or time on the connections that you have with your family, and and the relationships that you build through the course. So thank you. I really appreciate you having a chat to me about that. It sounds like you've had a wonderful experience and it's really changed things for you for the better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's been really good.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.